Hey fam, welcome back. So we are coming today with literally natural lighting. I have so much to share with you in this Shop My Stash reviews section of our last Shop My Stash featuring Becca that I really just wanted to come to you in natural lighting today so that you could see the true look of these products. So if you're interested in learning about all my thoughts on these products, go ahead and stay tuned. It is going to be fun today. Let's get started. Everything on my face today, minus concealer and brows, is Becca. And this is actually my favorite look that I created while I was trying all these different products. But I am going to be talking about everything with you and showing you some demonstrations. We've got swatches, we've got all kinds of stuff. There were so many products. I wanted to try to do like a really good wrap up of everything. And I believed so much in these products and enjoyed using them so much that I kind of went over and above this week. So I hope you guys enjoyed. It was a lot of work, but here we are. Let's start with primers. So this week I tried both the Becca First Light Priming Filter, and then I also tried the Becca Backlight Priming Filter. I love both of these so much. They give completely different effects, and I will go ahead and insert some demonstrations. The First Light Priming Filter is going to give you a little bit more of a glow from within. It is going to kind of just blur the skin a bit. It's going to add a really nice sheen, a nice luminosity. It's very delicate. It's really pretty, kind of ethereal. This one will have you glowing to the gods. It is so dewy and so beautiful. I absolutely love this. Of the two, I definitely prefer a little bit more glow for my dry skin, but if you're an oily girl perhaps, and you don't want as much dew, you may enjoy this. I found both of these absolutely stunning. I know there are folks that don't believe in primers necessarily, and some of them, I'll agree with you, are kind of glorified moisturizers. Other ones like these really do impact your skin. They create such a gorgeous finish, a gorgeous base, that when you put something on top of it, it looks so much better. And I love these so much. And for reference today, I am wearing the Backlight Primer. Next, for foundations, I had two to try this week. I had the Becca Aqua Luminous Foundation, and I also had the Becca Ever Matte Shine Proof Foundation. I have three colors, and I found that the shade Buff worked best for my skin of the colors I had. So let's talk about these foundations. Like, Becca, can you do no wrong? Can you do no wrong? I don't understand. We'll start with this matte primer, which I did use just one day. I wanted to make sure that I did test it. I don't typically go towards matte primers. I really thought I was not going to like this. I even talked about this in my Shop My Stash, how I purchased things back in the day from TJ Maxx. If they had like a good brand, I just grabbed them without really thinking about what would work best for my skin. That's how I ended up with a bunch of makeup I had to declutter. And I really just thought this was going to end up in the declutter bus. However, even for a matte foundation, this did not look dry on my skin. It actually gave me a really pretty glow. Now, it could have been that First Light primer with this foundation that made it so beautiful, but this actually looked really pretty on my skin. I had to blow my nose a whole bunch that day, so I did get a little bit of wearing off around this area, and just like, a little bit on my nose, a little teensy bit of creasing, but the finish was really beautiful. And what was really cool is even after an entire day of work, I was looking at my face on my drive home from work, kind of checking the rearview mirror to see what was going on. I didn't have any like dewiness around this area where I always get a lot. And then on my forehead here, I typically get like little oily spots. Nothing with this. It was very much still matte, still looked really pretty, other than that little teeny bit of wearing off, but it wore off really in a beautiful way. It didn't look super patchy. I was so impressed with this for a matte formula. Now, am I going to reach for a matte all the time? Of course not. However, for a matte formula, I found this to have a really nice finish. It still looked really pretty on my skin, and I just really liked it. I'll probably get a little bit more use maybe over the summer, since this is a little bit of a deeper shade for me. And also it being matte, I get a little bit more oily in the summer when it's not so cold and dry. But I really was happy with this. But my heart and what's on my face today is the Aqua Luminous. This was so beautiful. It was like everything my dry skin has been hoping and praying for. I really, really enjoyed it. It's more of like a medium finish. It's not really so much full coverage, but it really just gave me so much luminosity. My skin looks so shiny and dewy, but not greasy. Like, it just looks really beautiful. But I do have really dry skin. So if you have oily skin, you may enjoy that Ever Matte foundation. For my dry girls, I really, really like this. And it's got a cute little pump. It's not the most efficient delivery system. Sometimes you gotta pump it a little bit, not my favorite, but I really enjoy the formula. I think it's really beautiful. And I just mix the fair and beige together to get my color today. I just think it makes your skin look really supple and dewy and plump. I just, I love it. I love it. Continuing with complexion products, I tried this Becca Under Eye Brightening Corrector. This I thought was really, really beautiful. I know this is a favorite of Samantha Ravindal. I know Angelica Nyqvist recently said this product's out here doing the Lord's work. And I could not agree with them more. I really like the way that it brightened my under eyes. I have very dark under eyes. I always have. I believe it's, for the most part, like hereditary for me. I've had them, you know, my whole life. This I found really did correct beautifully under my eyes. It just kind of canceled out a lot of the darkness and a lot of the blue. I did go over top of this with a concealer. I used the CoverGirl True Blend Undercover Concealer, but this really did a lot of the work where I only needed a little bit of the concealer because this was already canceling out my under eyes so effectively. I really love this product. Beautiful. Along the same vein, for Miss Priscilla, I had to make sure that I tried this pink powder this week. This is the Becca Soft Light Blurring Powder in Pink Haze. We were both slightly terrified. We both were. We talked about this. How scared we were of this pink powder. But I wanted to make sure that I tried it this week. And my findings, you definitely are going to see some pink. There's no lie. You were going to see some pink. Now, I do have a neutral undertone with a pink shift, like a pinky neutral. So I was kind of excited for this. It's what made me buy it. I'm like, all right, let's see what we can do with some pink. And it really does come across pink. But what that does, I wanted to make sure I highlighted this. I think the effectiveness of this powder is in its ability to color correct and cancel out darkness and blue. Much like my beloved, my most recommended product from my very first video on my channel till today, still is this KKW Under Eye Brighten Powder. This is my second one and I've already hit pan. Like, I have 2 more backups of this and I'll go through them. This is like a pinky tone as well, and it really helps to brighten my under eyes in a beautiful way. It cancels out my blue. I really love it. I could not recommend this product more. It's fantastic. And I find that in a little bit more of a dramatic way, this does the same thing. You're definitely going to get some pink pigment, but I do feel like you can't see any pink on me now. It really just kind of cancels out the blue. And I really love this. Like, I can see me reaching for this again, just to kind of color correct. It's a little bit more of a hassle, obviously, than this pressed formula. This I would recommend higher than this one. But if you have this, don't be scared. If you have some under eyes you want to cancel, you want it to be a little bit more blanked out, I do think you'll love this. Just, you know, give it a try. And then, of course, I set on top of that powder, Hydra Mist Set and Refresh Powder, which I love. You can see that I've used up a lot of my product. And you don't see a lot of dryness. Like, I don't see dryness. I don't feel dry. I don't feel uncomfortable. I actually purchased a backup of this during Boxy Pop-Up. When this was on sale, I was going to get this during the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty sale when it was on sale, but I had just opened it and really liked it so much that I wanted to get the backup then. But I was like, you have a bajillion setting powders. But when this came again in Pop-Up for like $9 or $12 or something like that, I had to get it because it's normally much more expensive. Now, this absolutely will feel wet on your skin. If that freaks you out, then this might not be the product for you. But if you are dry like me, you may love it. You may be like, thank you for a hydrating powder. Oh, I love it. Now, it does eventually stop being cool and wet. I have been using this since I got it from my BoxyCharm. I'd have to figure out which month it came. It has since. Maybe you have the wetness for like 4 months, maybe a little longer than that. So it won't feel so much cool and wet anymore, but the powder still works beautifully. It still sets your eyes without looking dry and like chalky or dusty. I think it's a beautiful formula, even when that first effect kind of wears off. But I did enjoy it when it was feeling kind of like more wet and stuff. But if that bothers you, don't worry, it will wear off eventually and you'll still have this absolutely beautiful formula to enjoy. And then my last Becca complexion product is this Multitasking Perfecting Powder in the shade Light. I went ahead and dusted this all over the rest of my skin, other than under my eyes, around my nose, my chin, a little bit on my forehead. I went, around the outside of my face with this one, setting my foundation with this powder. This is beautiful. I use it to buff out my nose contour. Really love this formula. I have another one of these in my purse. I was able to find 2 of them at TJ Maxx. So next I went in with bronzer, and I have quite a few bronzers to talk about. All of my bronzers for Becca come in these little palettes, like this Becca and Chrissy Teigen one, which I have on my face today. So beautiful. I'm like, how was I not playing with all of these this entire time? These have just been like sitting in my collection looking cute, just like looking fresh up in my collection. But I hadn't used them. I just kept reaching for other things. This bronzer formula, oh, chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. It is so beautiful and so easy to blend. Oh my gosh, like not a patch in sight. It's so soft. Oh, beautiful colors. I have 4 different colored bronzers here to talk to you about, and I love all of them. All of them worked on my complexion. I love them. Love. So this first one comes in the Becca and Chrissy Teigen palette, and this is the Malibu Soleil. So this is the Malibu Soleil bronzer. Absolutely gorgeous. I have it on my skin today. They all blend just as beautifully as this one. Every single one of these bronzers. Such gorgeous formula. I think it's my new favorite. In the Becca Après Ski palette, we have Bronzed Bondi. And that is this bronzer here, also beautiful. From the Becca, Chloe, and Malika palette. We had this bronzer, and this one is Cocoa Bronze. Gorge. And in the Afterglow palette, we had this bronzer here, and this is in Capri Coast, which I think is her most popular one. Every single one of them, you can't go wrong. You cannot go wrong. The formula is beautiful. The shades are beautiful. Oh, I just love her bronzer formula. It's so pretty. I really enjoyed all of these face palettes. I made sure to use all of them, the blushes, the highlighters. Not every highlighter, obviously, but every blush, every bronzer I tried, and they are gorgeous. Gorgeous. Love. Something I discovered with these face palettes is that I definitely have some dupes. I have some dupe highlighters and some dupe blushes that are included both in these palettes and that I have in single form. I don't know that I'll be decluttering any of them just because I love them so much that I can see me actually like using these products up and like wanting to have backups. But I may end up, depending on my space, you know, as I move through my collection, I may end up trying to pass along some of the things I have that are duplicates. For instance, in the Afterglow palette, in addition to the Capri Coast bronzer, I also have a shimmering skin perfector in Champagne Pop and Crystal Gold. Crystal Gold is the other highlighter in here. So these blushes right here, they are in Snapdragon and Flower Child, which I also have in the single blush formula, full size. So do I need dupes of these blushes? No. No, I don't. But I might still hang on to them because they're so beautiful. I have to say, for Becca's blush formula, I know in my last BoxyCharm unboxing, I mentioned how Hourglass has such a great formula in the fact that it really does last you all day. I would say that Becca is a real close second in terms of its longevity, and it's a lot more affordable than Hourglass. So I think this formula is absolutely beautiful. Highly recommend it. So good. I don't have any dupes in my Becca, Chloe, and Malika palette. This has Glow Up, Fierce, Fabulosity, and Cocoa Bronze. So this, no dupes. In my Becca Après Ski palette, gorgeous colors. Our blushes in here, we have Winterberry and we have Blushed Copper. Winterberry is not a dupe, but I do have a single shadow of the Blushed Copper. So do I need both? Maybe, maybe not. For the highlighters in here, we have Icicle, which is this shade here, which I do not have. And we also have Opal, which I do have here. Again, do I need both? But I'm like, but for travel, like, am I going to bring a big palette? No, I'm not. I'm going to be afraid I'm going to break it, but I might want to grab like a little highlighter like this for travel. So I'm like, I do actually have another Champagne Pop in the pressed formula right here. So do I really need doubles? But I do, but I don't. And then for the last palette, the Chrissy Teigen one, Rose Gold is one of the highlighters, which is this one right here. I have right here, Dupe City. So that's my one concern with the palettes and the loose highlighters is that I do absolutely have some dupes. So it's just something to think about. Don't want to be greedy, but then I also love these products, so it's just a little tricky. But in addition to the other blushes that I talked about that I have the dupes for, I have Wild Honey, which is a gorgeous color. It's like a nude, beautiful nude blush. Oh, it's so pretty. And then I also have Songbird, and this is also a really pretty, like peachy nude blush. Continuing on with highlighters, I have this highlighter palette, which is the Eyelights palette from the Après Ski collection. This one, surprisingly, I actually don't have a lot of dupes. My only dupe is, again, Opal. This is my third Opal. Like, come on, girl. Everything else, though, in here is not a dupe. We have rose quartz. So I have rose gold, but I don't have rose quartz. Moonstone, which I don't have. Hot cocoa, pearl, opal, which we have opal right there. We have toasted marshmallow and topaz. So definitely a cool little array. I actually, like I had mentioned in my Shop My Stash, I kept this in my eyeshadow drawer for like toppers to go along with this eyeshadow palette. I wasn't really pulling them as often as I should have been, but I think I'm actually going to put this back with highlighters just because I'm probably only going to reach for maybe these two, maybe this one for a topper, but the rest of these I'd really like to use on my face. So I may switch this to my highlighter palette drawer. We'll see. I might keep it with eyeshadows. This was the one I got the least amount of use out of this week just because they were all highlighters, and I ended up using a different topper with this palette. Continuing on with highlighters, I have this Big Daddy in Gold Pop. I didn't really get too much use out of this week, but it is absolutely beautiful, and there just was not enough time to try everything. Like, everything was so pretty. This is Gold Lava, which is gorgeous. I've actually used this in the past as well. So pretty. Next, we have the Opal Flashes Jade, which is one that I had been afraid to touch before, but when I swatched it, it was a pretty unique color. You guys will see that in the inserts with all the swatches. And then lastly, we have this Ocean Glow Shimmering Skin Perfector Pressed and Sunlit Bronzer. So this one comes with highlighters. It comes with the white highlighter and this pink highlighter, as well as a bronzer. But I did go ahead and swatch this for you guys, and those will be inserted as well. Then moving on to like my different highlighter formulas than just the pressed, we have the Becca Champagne Pop, so a third Champagne Pop highlighter, but this is the This is the loose formula. This is really pretty. I actually dusted this on top as like a finishing powder on top of my highlight and bronzer and blush when I was finished applying them, and I just think it's such a beautiful shade, so summery, so gorgeous. This I bought at TJ Maxx. I had FOMO about Jaclyn Hill's highlighters. I still might pick them up at some point, but I had so much FOMO and then I saw this and I'm like, I bet you this is going to be beautiful. And I really love it as like a finishing highlight. It's so pretty. This is another loose highlighter in Cinnamon Sugar. This is from the Becca and Chrissy Teigen collection. I am like Chrissy Teigen girl. She like really hooked us up. So many beautiful products. I really enjoyed using this week. And lastly was this little bugger who I absolutely love. On the top of this is an eyeshadow that is so creamy dreamy. It is a thing of dreams. It is what I have on my lids today. It is so beautiful. No setting spray, like very minimal fallout. So easy to apply. I really enjoyed using this. And then in the bottom is a loose kind of jelly highlighter. So I definitely want to get some more use out of this. I did really enjoy this. I love the shadow. This is just a gorgeous product. Really, really love it. Then another highlighter formula are these shimmering skin perfectors. So I actually currently have this gold one on my inner corner and under my brow. And then this white one I have used in the past as like a nose highlight. Do you see how that just is so pretty? It just like adds a little bit of light. Really like these. So they can be great for just a quick inner corner, like if you want to highlight in specific areas, maybe like a little Cupid's bow moment. So definitely like these. However, we did have a few highlighters I wasn't that keen on this week. I know, shocker, right? You're like the first thing she said negatively about this brand. These are the only products that might be decluttered. I would like to play with them a teensy bit more just to kind of see, but 75% chance these are going to get decluttered. The first is C-Pop, Champagne Pop yet again. This time in the pressed or poured cream formula. I didn't love these a whole lot. I did swatch these for you as well in my swatches, but you can see that like it's just not the most blinding. It's very subtle. I don't reach for cream highlighters that often. It is really pretty though. It's giving like a really nice beautiful luminosity, so it's possible that I just need to play with these more and I'll enjoy them more, just because it's so neat that it's like a unique formula, like a pressed or poured cream, a pressed cream kind of. I don't know. And then this one is in Prosecco Pop. This is my only Prosecco Pop, which also makes me a little nervous to get rid of it. I don't know. So this is Prosecco Pop and that's Champagne Pop. So they are really pretty. Well, and the sun's catching it in a neat way. It might just be that I need to try them more. We'll see. We'll see about those. And then in the same spirit, these liquid highlighters, I have Rose Gold and Opal yet again. So you can see that highlight there. It's really beautiful. And now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, maybe an inner corner highlight. Oh, it's so pretty. I just don't know that I'm gonna reach for these. Like, I have so many highlighters from Becca. Am I gonna like grab out these liquid ones? I don't know. So I'm gonna give them some more time, but I'm just not sure if these are gonna stick around. There's the rose gold one. So they're very, very pretty. Ooh, there we go. Thank you, sun. So you can see all those swatches. I'm just not sure. So jury's out on these guys. Next, let's talk about some eyeshadow palettes. So from Becca, I only had 2, which was a nice change from my Too Faced one where I was trying to try like 10 or 11 different eyeshadow palettes in what ends up being like about 2 weeks, which doesn't give you a lot of time to play with stuff and really form like the best opinions or the clearest opinions. So yeah, definitely was happy to just have 2 to play with. This first one is the Becca Ombre Rouge eyeshadow palette. This is absolutely beautiful. This looks like such a simple palette, like kind of boring even, and I rarely reached for it. But these shades, the formula of these powders blends so easily, so seamlessly, and so beautifully. This formula is gorgeous. And I have these 2 colors. Like I made this eye look today with 2 eyeshadows, well, plus my little Becca shimmer I put on top. But this palette is so easy to work with, it's so beautiful. I think it has something for everybody. It's just so easy and natural and beautiful, and that shimmer shade on top is gorgeous. This palette though is a little tricky. It's a little tricky. This is one of the first palettes I bought when I started collecting all this makeup. And it's something I haven't really reached for. I've swatched it about 1 billion times because the color story looks so fun to swatch and it's so pretty. And these shadows, as you'll see in my swatches, are really, really beautiful. But I didn't get to play with this as much as I had wanted to. There were some days that I ran out to work without doing any makeup because I was running so late. And there were days I was playing more so with the other palette, but I did make sure I tried this out. And I find that even this like shade right here, this peach, is really pigmented. Like I do think that these shades are pigmented. It just comes down to when you start to blend them. I found that this one, I really wish there was a darker shade in this palette. They do show up, but it's like, it was kind of hard to get a defined eye, but it did end up looking beautiful. Even if it was more natural than what I was really going for. I was looking for something a little bit more dramatic or a little bit more payoff from this, but the look did end up really pretty. I topped over my eyes. I went in with these 2 shades, this to kind of set my lid and kind of like just sort of start the process, and I deepened up with this guy. And then I believe I went in with this one over top and just kind of packed the shadow on. And the look was really beautiful. These just aren't as impactful as you would think. Well, not all of the shades. Like this one, for instance, is kind of a dud. It's just like a topper kind of. It's the color that your eye goes towards so much, and it just doesn't perform the greatest, but it's kind of got a time and a place, I guess. Like if you're looking for a shade that does something similar to that, you know, maybe it could be a really kind of neat, like subtle look that would be still kind of shimmery and different. But these I really love a lot. These cream shadows are really beautiful. This orange I've had problems with since I first got it. It's also like that thinner formula like this one. So these are definitely like the more thinner formulas. But like this gold is creamy, dreamy, this red's creamy, dreamy, the champagne. These are all creamy, dreamy shades. They're so pretty. So I really like those shadows. It just can be a little bit of a trickier palette to work with. I do want to give it more time. I do think it's got potential. I do really like those creamier formulas. So I just want to kind of continue to play with this one. This is probably my favorite one, Hematite. Oh my gosh, so pretty. So while I might have to pull in other palettes to play with these, or just maybe grab for those certain shades I like, and maybe the other ones I just won't mess around with as much, I still think it's worth hanging on to and playing with and trying with other different things. Even my Smoke Sessions palette would go so nicely with some of these toppers, I bet. It's our challenge child. He's in a little bit of trouble. Sometimes he needs some extra love, but still a good kid. Let's move into lip products now. I had 3 bullet lipsticks from Becca. This is one of the items that I missed on my list. Actually, let's go over that at the end. I'll show you everything I missed in my stash because I know Emma did find one. And I was like, there's actually 5 that I missed. This one's in the shade Taupe. And I got this from my Boxy Luxe in March of 2018. So I definitely tried all of these lip products. I think this one was in my Boxy Charm try on video, the last one I just posted. I also have the Bullet Lipstick in Chai Creme, which is this beautiful color. This one I wore probably the most to work. And then I also have Toasted Hazelnut, which is on my lips today. It's like a mauvey brown. It's really pretty. I definitely enjoyed all 3 of these. Very creamy formula. It's not going to be one that's going to like last all day. And my lips are so dry and crusty. So just don't blame the lipstick for that. That's totally on me. But I really enjoyed all of these. They're really pretty neutral colors. I'll show you guys swatches as well. Another one I got my use out of quite a few days was this lips. Why am I rotating? Is this lip souffle, and this one is in the shade Red Velvet. This is from the Becca and Chrissy Teigen collection as well. This is a beautiful liquid lipstick. Definitely enjoyed this. Creamy, dreamy. It's a little bit of a thinner formula, but it coats your lips well. Moisturizing. Love this. This was great. Then I had a plethora of glow glosses, and y'all know how much your girl loves gloss. Yeah. But I did enjoy this formula. I actually only was able to try one of these glow glosses, and that was this shade here in Ruby Fire. So this one I actually did wear one day. I thought it was beautiful. These are really nice formulas. I just don't reach for gloss that often, but if I was gonna reach for a gloss, I can see me reaching for one of these glosses. They have a really beautiful finish. They're very comfortable, and I do also include swatches of all of these lip products for your viewing pleasure. Overall, this week was a smash. It was a success. I loved it. I loved all these products. I was like elated just putting them on my face. I'm like, oh my gosh, these are so great. Like, I was so relieved and happy. And it's so crazy because these have all been just sitting in my collection collecting dust. Like, it's possible I would have decluttered some of these without trying them if I hadn't done this Shop My Stash. So thank you so much to Emma for the recommendation. I loved it. And I love these products. And like, I'm actually kind of scared for the next one because I'm like, but wait, I like these ones. I want to keep using them, but I'll have to put them back and we'll pull the next brand. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it inspires you to pull out your Becca products, or if you see something at TJ Maxx, you know maybe what to avoid and what you might like, hopefully. I did also at one point have, like I mentioned in my previous video, I had their Aqua Luminous Concealer. Hated it. And I also used to have Becca's, I think it was like an ultimate coverage or high coverage. I believe it was just in our latest BoxyCharm box. I had decluttered that one for 2 reasons. One, the shade I picked up was way too light for me. It was like my sister's shade, and she's like porcelain, where I'm a lot more olive toned, I guess. She's much more fair than me, and so I pass it along to her. She also appreciates a full coverage foundation, where I prefer something more medium buildable, light medium buildable coverage. So I thought she might enjoy that more. So I did declutter those in past declutters. So yeah, if you see that concealer, I don't recommend it. If your preferences are different than mine, you may enjoy it. For me, I did not like it at all. As I mentioned, the liquid and poured cream highlighters aren't my favorites, but as I showed you in the swatches, they are still quite beautiful and quite catching of the light. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed our review roundup from the Shop My Stash scavenger hunt featuring Becca. I love all of you so much. I can't wait for the next one, and till next time,